The Joker is a murderous lunatic and Batman's arch nemesis. No matter how many times Batman locks him away in Arkham Asylum, he always manages to escape and cause death and destruction wherever he goes in Gotham City. And you would think that after the immeasurable mayhem Joker has caused, Batman would have stopped him for good. As in...
Why would I put my finger on his throat?
But I know what you're thinking. Batman won't kill the Joker because he doesn't want to break his no-killing rule, or he doesn't want to stoop to Joker's level or cross that line, or any number of reasons that Batman has given over the years. But today, I want to show you that Batman's logic on this matter is both incredibly inconsistent and very flawed. Why doesn't Batman kill Joker is the question that has been asked for decades. Other than the obvious real-world reason why DC Comics won't let Joker die, because, he's obviously their most popular villain, and they definitely make tons of money whenever he shows up anywhere, Batman has also established a few reasons in the comics as to why he won't kill the Clown Prince of Crime. The most popular reason is because Batman is against killing. Period. He's not going to kill the Joker for the same reason he won't kill Penguin or Poison Ivy or Killer Croc or anyone. Joker isn't a special case. He's just like all the other criminals. And Batman won't kill any of them either. The Caped Crusader is simply not a killer. It's against his fundamental code that makes Batman Batman. Bruce Wayne's thinking here lines up well with Kantian ethics. Emmanuel Kant believed that certain actions like killing are always wrong, even if you're killing a bad person like the Joker. Doing the wrong thing for the right cause is still the wrong thing. He explained it by saying that we each have the ability to reason, and reason affects what actions we take. Therefore, it's only the actions themselves that can be judged as moral or immoral because they were endorsed by our reason, whereas the consequences of those actions were not. Moral actions are rational, and immoral actions are irrational. But how do we determine if a particular action is rational or not? At the core of this philosophy is the Categorical Imperative, which aims to evaluate the morality of actions by taking actions to their extremes and imagining what would happen if everybody did it. If you steal a comic book from your friend, you might think, it's no big deal. But if we create a rule out of it, for example, steal comics if you want them, and imagine what would happen in a world where everyone followed that rule, we start to see some problems. Yeah, this hypothetical world sounds like a terrible place to live, but remember, Kant is not concerned with the consequences here. The bigger point is that a world where everyone wills to steal everyone else's property is logically impossible. If everyone goes around stealing other people's property, then the concept of owning something would effectively disappear. But by definition, you can't steal something unless it's owned by someone else. The entire concept of property and theft breaks down completely. From this, we can determine that stealing is morally wrong. Again, not because of the consequences of the action, but because the action itself is logically inconsistent, and immorality is a type of irrationality. If we apply this to Batman, let's see what would happen if his rule was to kill every lawbreaker and murderer. We can see how that would be a contradiction. We're basically creating a rule that says, break the law and murder all murderers who have broken the law. Everyone who follows this maxim becomes a victim to it themselves. It doesn't make any sort of sense, so it must be a morally wrong action for Batman to take. So it's actually very rational that Batman would have a rule against killing. To him, it's wrong no matter how you spin it, right? Well, the problem is that Batman has gone against this vow. We've seen that there are rare occasions when Bats will intentionally break his no-killing rule to stop dangerous threats, even if most of these instances are retconned away or set in alternate universes of some kind. Whether that be the Golden Age Batman who loved snapping people's necks and pushing people onto swords, which is, no longer canon, the time that he locked KG Beast away and left him to die, which was later retconned, or the time he shot Darkseid with every intent on killing him, even if he needed others to help him finish the job. But wait, if Batman is willing to attempt a murder on Darkseid, then he's admitting that killing in some instances is justified, where Kant would say, no, absolutely not, murder is always wrong 100% of the time. And if Bats acknowledges that killing can be fine sometimes, then why hasn't he killed the Joker? We're right back to where we started. Well, I guess there is the killing joke, which reportedly intended on having Batman kill the Joker in the final panels of the story. However, that ending was purposefully left ambiguous, and when they made the story canon, it very clearly was not the case, as Joker has reappeared many times since then. But there are a few really interesting moments from the killing joke that further show Batman's code of ethics. In the beginning, he states that he doesn't want Joker's murder on his hands, and later near the end, Bats explains that he doesn't want to hurt Joker. He doesn't want either of them to end up killing each other. But they're both running out of alternatives, and they both know it. This hints that Batman might be okay with the concept of killing if he feels that that's the morally right action to take. And who could argue with Batman? Well, for one, Batman. Batman could argue with Batman. We've seen a contradictory mindset on a few other occasions, times when Batman is very explicit in his desire to kill Joker. In the Under the Hood story arc, spoilers for a 10-year-old story, by the way, Jason Todd furiously questions Batman on why he still allows Joker to live after all he's done. Is it because Batman's moral code would make it too hard to ever cross that line? No. In fact, Batman explains it's the exact opposite. It would be too easy to kill the Joker. Killing Joker is all Batman has ever wanted to do. He wants to torture him, break him, and send him off to his death. He wants Joker dead more than he wants anything. This is made exceptionally clear in Batman Hush when he decides to kill Joker once and for all and even runs through the list of ways he could kill him right then and there. It's brutal and I love it. In both stories, there's talk of a line that's crossed if Batman were to ever murder someone. If he goes through with killing the Joker, if he ever crosses that line, he'll never be able to come back. He'll regret it forever. Not only that, but Batman will be no better than Joker himself. What does that mean? There's a theory of ethics called virtue ethics, which doesn't focus on the acts one commits, but rather the character of the person who commits them. Aristotle believed that the purpose of life was to achieve eudaimonia, which is commonly translated as flourishing nowadays. And the way to achieve eudaimonia was by practicing virtues. Virtues are basically in the middle of two extreme vices. Aristotle laid out a whole bunch of these virtues, but let's take a look at just one example. In between being a coward on one end of the scale and being rash on the other lies the virtuous choice, being courageous. If we were to question Batman's courage, I think we could definitively confirm that he isn't a coward, or else he wouldn't go out and fight crime in the first place. However, one could make a convincing argument that being Batman and rushing into battle with dangerous criminals is very foolhardy, which is a vice, not a virtue. But the fact that the Dark Knight is a brilliant strategist and has a plan for almost everything means that he never charges into conflict recklessly. He's right in the middle, right where you want to be. The idea is that virtuous people tend to act in a way that is morally right. So by practicing virtues, one will learn to make the correct actions. Practicing being the key word there. Virtues require time and habit and encouragement. One needs to constantly exercise being virtuous in order to make morally right choices. For that to happen, one needs to be in a proper environment with proper teachers who can help instill virtues. And this is brought up in that Hush storyline I mentioned a few moments ago. When Batman is on the verge of killing Joker, Gordon shows up and pleads with Batman to remember who he is and what made him who he is. His role models, the beliefs they instilled in him. Quote, and think of how the Joker could never understand that. It's what makes him who he is. Maybe that's what separates Batman and the Joker. Batman was taught and regularly practices virtues, while the Joker gives in to vices. And perhaps it's Batman's virtuous nature which compels him to keep Joker alive, not because there's anything inherently wrong with killing, but because killing him is what Batman believes is the morally wrong thing to do. And since he is virtuous and virtuous people tend to do the morally right thing, then not killing Joker may very well be the correct decision. Furthermore, it's possible that this is what all those comic books mean when they talk about the line that Batman can never cross. Indulging in vices might lead Bats to make a wrong decision that could haunt him for the rest of his life and set a moral precedent. If it's not corrected. That's kind of the biggest flaw with this whole if I cross that line there's no coming back argument. Again, Aristotle believed that those who lack virtue can change with time and habit. If Batman truly believes that sparing Joker time and time again is the right thing to do, he might still slip up one day and accidentally kill him. We've already seen that it's not out of the realm of possibility. And if he does cross that line, it's not the end of the world. If he continues to practice virtues, he'll be back to making the right calls soon enough. So maybe Jason Todd was right to criticize Batman for his reasoning. Jason tells him that he's not asking Bats to kill every criminal, just Joker. Batman shouldn't hide behind the there's no coming back argument. Besides, isn't it the Dark Knight's duty to protect Gotham from its parade of criminals? Why is killing too far? If killing the Joker prevents future killings of innocent civilians, isn't Batman obligated to go through with it? That line of thinking is very utilitarian, a theory which holds that the best action to take is one which maximizes utility. Okay? So what exactly is utility? Is it having lots of pouches in your utility belt? Well, no, that's just a dumb joke I desperately tried to fit in here. Defining utility is kind of a whole thing that we don't really have time to get into, but just for the sake of this video, let's say that something has utility if it promotes happiness or well-being. So if the consequences for killing Joker are that many lives are saved from his psychotic wrath, then a utilitarian might believe that Batman should absolutely kill the Joker. In fact, he should have done it ages ago. When Jean-Paul Valley, aka Azrael, took up the Batman mantle, he started doing some decidedly un-Batman-like things. It all came to a climax when he faced off against a serial killer named Abattoir, in a scene that was very reminiscent of Joker's plunge into a chemical vat. But where Batman tried to save Joker, Azrael just stood by and let Abattoir fall to his death in a pit of molten metal. But it gets worse. Before this showdown, Abattoir had kidnapped his own cousin and hooked him up to a machine that slowly crushed him. With Abattoir dead, there was no way of locating his cousin in time to save him. He died because Azrael refused to save Abattoir. When Gordon informed him that his inaction led to an innocent man's death, Azrael just said, "So? What's your point?" He went on to explain, quote, "So one man died. Against that death, weigh this. Abattoir had already slaughtered 25 people. His insanity was incurable. He seems to escape from jail at will. How many more do you think he'd have killed?" End quote. Kinda sounds like Azrael is making a statement about Batman's policy with the Joker. Even the way he describes Abattoir could easily be applied to the Clown Prince. When Bruce Wayne and the Robin at the time, Tim Drake, confronted Azrael about his reckless actions as Batman, Azrael turns it around on them, criticizing Bruce for his tolerance of criminals, effectively blaming him for all of the lives that they have taken. He even singles out the Joker by name. It's clear that Azrael's ethics are utilitarian. He's willing to let Abattoir and his cousin die if it means trading those two lives for the safety and well-being of the rest of the city. Jeremy Bentham, the philosopher who founded utilitarianism, had a very Spock-like belief. Bentham put the happiness of the community before everything else. He believed in quantity over quality. The more people who are happy, the better. In fact, quality didn't really factor in at all. Specifically, this is known as act utilitarianism, where an act is deemed morally right when it creates the best results for the largest amount of people. But how could we possibly know every last effect our actions have? Not only that, but how can we accurately calculate the consequences of alternative actions to make 100% sure that we're doing the right thing, or at least the less bad thing? As Professor Mark D. White wrote in an essay on the subject, we really have no idea if killing Joker would save any lives in the future at all. For all we know, Joker could die of natural causes tomorrow and never hurt anyone again. How could we be positive in thinking that killing him is justified? Not only that, but what if Joker's death sets in motion even worse consequences that we couldn't even fathom? Batman actually takes this into consideration when it comes to killing Joker in the New 52. Quote, "It's true I don't do it because of my code, because of what I stand for, but there's another reason too, and it's this city. I truly believe that if I did it, if I killed Joker, Gotham would just send me someone worse." Which is kind of odd, considering Batman regularly faces threats against the entire universe with the Justice League, while Joker usually sticks to terrorizing a single city. There are already monsters worse than Joker. Heck, Batman works on a team with someone infinitely more dangerous, someone with essentially limitless power, someone who could destroy the planet, and with it, the entire human race if he wanted to. Someone who actually killed Joker. That's right. Superman. If you think it's challenging to figure out whether or not Batman should kill the Joker, wait until we match up the Dark Knight and the Man of Steel in part 2 of this ethical debate next week. In the meantime, what do you guys think? Should Batman kill Joker? What do you think is stopping him? Let's talk about it all in the place where we talk about things, and I'll pick some of your brilliant comments to showcase on Monday's video. Hey guys, really quickly, I want to let you know that we have our very own NerdSync t-shirts available, like this one that says, "Holy Here We Go Again, Batman," or this one that just says, "Batman, Very Superman," which are both jokes from the podcast. So if you just watch our videos, you probably don't get these, but that's fine because we have tons of other nerdy t-shirts that you can check out over at NerdSyncStore.com. It's hosted by the fine people at TeePublic, who have very generously given us a coupon code. So if you go pick out anything over there, they got t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, posters, and all that stuff, and you apply the coupon code NerdSync30 at checkout, you save 30% off of your entire order, which is amazing. The links will be in the description below. Once again, that's NerdSyncStore.com with the coupon code NerdSync30. If you want more videos about Batman, we have an entire playlist of videos you can binge watch all about the world's greatest detective detective? Does Batman even remember the night his parents died? Could he be a literal Dark Knight? Why does he have a giant penny and dinosaur in the Batcave? Click right here to find out. Or if you want to watch more of our comic book philosophy videos, click right here to watch a playlist of videos all about whether great power really does mean great responsibility, if the Avengers really truly exist, and other mind-blowing theories. Again, you can click here or the links in the description. And make sure you hit that big sexy subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the new videos we make for you every single week that explore the history, science, art, and philosophy behind your favorite comic book superheroes. My name is Scott, reminding you to read between the panels and grow smarter through comics. See ya.